Iraqis secure their capital so they can make progress toward reconciliation and build a free nation that respects the rights of its people, upholds the rule of law, and fights extremists and radicals and killers alongside the United States in this war on terror.
You know, how do you keep coming back knowing this is just kind of dragging on? I know you can't quit, but...
Yeah. Oh, it is hard. It is hard sometimes. But I think somebody said that it's not hope that gives you the courage to act. It's acting that gives you the courage to hope. So you're right in the way you put it. I know you can't stop. No, I simply can't. So.
Congress ought to give General Petraeus' plan a chance to work. In the months since our military has been implementing this plan, we've begun to see some important results.
Plunder should not be rewarded. Aggression should not be rewarded. So I'm ambivalent about the president's veto of this bad bill, and I'm just hoping that the Democrats do not cooperate with the president to make a new bill that can be signed.
I don't know how my father stood his ground. I don't know how my people survived slavery. But I remember, and that's why I believe.
I realize that G5 here. Jerry, get in here. Get all the way in here in front of me. Because we got to get people, big crowd.
More people here.
What was the question you asked?
I said, what is it going to take to get more people engaged? I want to see this place filled up with people that are upset about what's going on.
I don't know how the snow falls and covers the ground. I don't know why the hurricane sweeps through the land every now and then. But standing in a rainstorm, I believe.
What we want to do is end this war and bring people home. And yesterday we lost another Iowan. So 3,000 people later, 4 years later, and we're still here.
I raise my voice for justice, I believe. I raise my voice for justice, I believe.
Today, we find ourselves in the same place we were towards the end of the Vietnam War. It is the stage in that war when we Americans finally realize we're losing the war.
Why aren't there more of us here? And why aren't we tearing the White House down a brick at a time?
Yeah.
You know, because it's time. It's time now. Okay.
Unity. We all heard something about who and what $500 billion that have already been spent in Iraq. We could have offered a college education, a 4-year scholarship at a public university to 20 million students. Could have insured 200 million children, hired an additional 7 million teachers, built 7 million affordable housing units, paid for a year's stay in an assisted living facility for half of the 35 million Americans who are 65 or older, funded adequately after-school programs, AIDS treatment for children in Africa, for more than the reckless use of resources.
Yes.
Candidates wouldn't support it. When those candidates are in front of us and we can question them, we need to ask, why are they unwilling to consider impeachment? After all, Congress was willing to impeach a president for a sexual act between consenting adults. Here we've got a president and a vice president who are killing, slaughtering millions, hundreds of thousands of people. And think about it.
We want Congress to come forth with a bill that calls for the total withdrawal of our troops and our bases. We do support our troops. And the way we support our troops is by demanding of Congress that it allocate funding for the safe and orderly withdrawal of our troops.
Wells, power plants, waste treatment programs, 15-foot blast walls, ground-to-air missiles in the embassy. All of this in plain sight of maimed, grieving, and displaced Iraqis. All in plain sight of returning refugees whose visas are now the wrong classification, and they are now at least twice displaced because of cruel bureaucratic mismanagement. In plain sight are at least 4 permanent military super bases. They each have a 15 to 25 square mile footprint. Consider 20,000 troops per base, eating franchise fast food, renting Hertz rent-a-cars, catching base bus lines, shopping for any electronic device that we can buy here. Both parties are responsible for the mass slaughter of Iraqi citizens and U.S. soldiers. And because they represent us, so are we. Everyone, look at your neighbor and say, I am complicit in mass slaughter. Really do it. Who will fight with me and insist that we turn around and go a new direction?